Welcome to Whispers from the Inn, an unofficial Warcrow production. Join your Innkeepers as they discuss all things Warcrow, the tabletop miniatures combat game by Corvus Belli.
Welcome to Whispers from the Inn. We are your hosts, Jason, Jake, JP, Scott. We are back after a little bit of a lengthy holiday / all of January break, but we are all ready to leave that behind us and come back to talking about Warcrow. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, aside from the technical difficulties I'm having, so that's why no one gets to see my face, but only hear my voice today.
But that's okay. We for those in Radio Land, no effect on you. Those that are YouTubers, you get the three of us instead. Jake, JP, how's things?
I have reached my busy season. Taxes are a thing. Go get your taxes done.
So he can stop working.
And hopefully you'll get a refund and you can pay for more Warcrow minis.
Yes. I haven't seen a refund in years, so that's not even a thing for me. So we've got an exciting, we think is an exciting episode. But before we get there, a lot of us have been hobby timing it up.
Yep. Yeah. So what has everybody been working on? I know we got I was saying it earlier, but I was muted, so nobody heard me. But it's one of my favorite times of the year from a hobbies perspective because everybody and their mother is painting their minis now because Adepticon is coming up. So
yes, because nobody plans ahead.
It's a great time to see, all these great people trying out different paint schemes and stuff. So what's everybody working on?
Since you mentioned Adepticon, I'll go first. I've been working on printing out a heck of a lot of Warcrow terrain for Adepticon, traveling down to Adepticon headquarters and being part of the spray team and working with those guys to get a bunch of it airbrushed and dry brushed and ready and presentable for Adepticon coming up in March. So mainly been working on that, and I've also done one conversion for the Walker on Leaf Storm so that I can field both the Walker and Aileen at the same time.
I think you also did the Warg Riders conversion.
Thank you. Yes, that has been since I also did the Warg Riders conversion on the second unit of Warg Riders that I have. And that was a happy little accident. Channeled little Bob Ross. I broke the sword off of one of the hands. So I'm like, I'll use this as a time to put spears in their hands. So now that second unit has spears. So they'll stand out differently. I think they looked like a lot of fun.
Nice copper rods. Yeah.
My hobby has been, unfortunately, not Warcrow focused. I built a new computer after Christmas, so I've been doing a lot of tinkering with that, and I've been building some Gundam stuff.
How about you, Jason?
I have I've had Battle Scarred on the table for about a week and a half, and I am making a concerted effort to make sure that I finish a unit before starting another one, because that's usually my bad, having partially painted. So no, I'm going to get the whole darn thing done. My plan is to hopefully play Northern Tribes at Adepticon, assuming I'm playing in other tournaments too. So depending on how those go will depend on whether I play in Warcrow or not. But speaking of tournaments, other than hobbying, I'm also in the WWL Warcrow Winter League, I think is what it's called. The online league that's going on, right? The virtual league that Sky and a couple other people, if you know their Discords, are doing. This is the first one. They've done a really good job with the TTS mod. There's some quirks with it, but overall pretty solid, pretty easy to work with. And I had a really good game one. I had a little but a really somewhat rough game two. We've talked about it as a small group. Having decapitation with Leo Slave is not a fun experience right now. There's definitely a lot of things you got to do to play around that. But overall, it has been it has been enjoyable. It's playing the game, and as international it is, it's really cool. I've played somebody I think on the East Coast and somebody up in Minnesota, so I got some connections going there. So just the way we like doing it, playing with our communities and reaching out and getting some things going. So I hope it keeps going strong. The mod's going to keep getting updated. I know 3D models are coming. Right now they're just tokens, but 3D models are coming. And so definitely check it out if you're not in that Discord. It is the original fan Discord before Corvus Belly started. The current one we have, the official one we have right now. So, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And it's been cool too, because you can just kind of hop in and watch people play and talk with them and stuff.
Yeah. So my plan is so right now I've been just kind of streaming it on my own in Discord, and anybody can come in and take a look. But my plan is if I get an opponent that's okay with it, I will actually probably stream a game on our channel at some point in time. Now that I'm comfortable with the mod, I did not want to do it the first 2 games.
Yeah.
But now I'm comfortable with the mod. I'm pretty, pretty solid. I think that'll happen before this league is over.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Similarly, to what Scott's been doing, I also have been tweaking and cleaning up my Warcrow scenery for Adepticon. So I think I'm bringing five tables, I think was what we said. I can't remember.
Yes, please. That's what I've got in this. That's what I have in the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, yeah. So doing that, I finished painting the Feudum command, which the Feudum officers, all 3 of them. So I painted and put those on my Instagram, which is where I do most of my content stuff, all my paint schemes. And I was able to improve my photography. So those photos are a lot better. And I'm starting to experiment with decals now for Feudum. So the shields of the shield of the Magister, I did some work, and then I'm currently working on the knights, the foot knights, and I did a bunch of kind of some work with their shields and stuff. So that's been a lot of fun. Aside from that, the work I finally was able. My work was able to get a bigger 3D printer, a Bamboo Lab adjacent printer, one of the Creality ones, and I was able to print a Warganizer. So now I don't have to pull up to the game store with some giant chest filled with all of my Warcrow models. And when I say all of them, I mean the entire line of Warcrow models. So it's nice. I'm excited to put stuff in there. But aside from that, I've been experimenting right now with making props, 3D printing props. Some swords and stuff. Just started that today, and some other Corvus Belly stuff that may become relevant later. So we'll have to see what that's all about. But in terms of the podcast, what are we talking about today, Scott?
Well, we are talking about similar to what we did in episode 4. We're going to talk about the Song of the Dormant and Beyond Song of the Dormant. But specifically this time, we're going to talk about the Scions of Yaldabaoth. So we're going to review the concept art, the painted models, and the profiles for every model and profile that came out in those 2 boxes. And to kick us off, JP is going to talk about Intact.
So the first unit we've got is the Intact. This is your 4-man basic infantry unit of the new Scions. We've got their dossier card. And then we can move to their painted models. That lovely red and tanned skin paint scheme we have going for the wonderful humans and all of their cosplay needs as they are working towards becoming true members of the Scions. We can look at their profile card. They are 20 points for the unit of 4. They have a movement of 3/2 with a charge of 9. They are 2 wounds each with a willpower of 2 yellow dice, a morale of 1, and you can take up to 3 units of them. In their full strength profile, they have a red and 3 orange with a switch of a hollow special to inflict the frightened status. And on defense, they have a green and 2 black with 1 conquest value in both their full and their half form. Their reduced profile, they go down to a red, a yellow, and a hit, and their switch changes to a hollow hit to inflict this frightened status. On defense in the reduced size, they get a blue die. They have a command ability of Blades of Catrador. When you attack, your target can only cancel your hits with hollows instead of solids. And their passive ability is Loyal to the End. Once per round, if there's an allied high command character within 10 strides or joined to the unit, you can repeat 1 die from your attack and defense rolls.
What do we think? Who's played them?
Have I played them?
I have used them a few times with this profile, and the Blades of Catrador are where they shine.
Yes, absolutely. Blades of Catrador is the main driving force behind why you would want to take Intact. In my opinion, just definitely make sure you bring a lot of other units that generate command tokens.
And Loyal to the End seems to be hit and miss because I don't know how you guys have played with Scions, but I tend to have my high command joined to a unit. It's usually not in tax, and then they're not triggering the Loyal to the End.
Yeah.
Right.
They're definitely, I think worth the 20 points. I mean, because they have a steep drop off when they get halved in like terms of dice and symbols and stuff they use. But it's really the Blades, the Catrador, that's kind of it's that, and then if you're lucky, it's giving the frightened condition out. So.
At least they have a conquest value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they can be a little gnarly when you put them with like the needle, who I'll talk about next, and stuff like that. Gives them a little bit of longevity. But just like any of the other AVB3 units, nice and kind of simple. These guys are nice. The frightened is fun because they basically can kind of stack those not stack them, but give out frightened states ahead of time before some of the big bruisers show up. I'd say, because if you go more of the living flesh type entities, the bigger monsters and stuff, not the undead stuff. Well, actually, all of them. They all have like intimidating and stuff like that. So these guys can kind of help get that snowball effect going.
Fantastic.
And I think I'm doing Needle.
You're doing Needle next.
Yeah, Needle is wonderfully creepy. I love this model. I love the one that they have in Adventures. The one we have here on the concept art is from just the new one, but there's also old concept art and images of the OG one from Adventures. It's just wonderful and horrifying. I love the tinge dripping upwards. I think that's just a really cool little aesthetic thing they did. When you can see it better when you look at the actual picture, and you can kind of see how the original one is holding a longer thread with a hook, and this one they gave a candle to, but they're just creepy, and it's just very fun. And what's creepy, I think, is you can't even see her face here, and they're all kind of hunched up when you realize that it's the stitched arms that the progenitor has given this character so that they can scuttle around and sew stuff together. Let's look at its.
Are those legs or feet also hands?
They're hands, yeah. So when I did the lore video, the lore video for these guys, their normal hands and legs are what's all kind of curled up around their chest, and then the extra sets of arms are their legs, and then another set of. They're not legs though; they're hands, and then another set of hands so that they can rapidly sew stuff together. It's horrible. It's really kind of creepy, but I really like how as you may have caught on in the podcast, I love the kind of the vibe of the Scions.
It is a really cool vibe.
Yeah, and the fact that it's faceless too. A lot of the stitchers, I would call them, like the progenitors, the needle. They all puppeteer. Their faces are all covered, So like they don't have, you can't. There's some more psychological horror there because you can't. There's no eyes you're looking into. So it is just something about the human psychology of not looking them in the face. So it's just really cool. And the needle does exactly kind of what the model looks like. So it's a 20-point model with one command token, support character. So the needle can move 4/3. It's an elf, so 4/3 with an 11 charge, 2 wounds, a willpower of an orange and a yellow die, morale 1, AVB 1. So you can only have one of them. The adventures box came with 3, and not even the adventures box, but the expansion boxes. But you can only have one. And so it's a character, dark-minded, and an elf. It has dispel, yellow and black, not yellow, blue and black. Join infantry, so any infantry that are scions, and then tinge. This is kind of around the time when the tinge keyword dropped with scions, so we got to kind of see a lot more of that. When it comes to rolling dice for offense and defense, her melee or its melee is 2 orange and 2 yellow. You can stress to give it an additional solid special symbol, and then there's only one switch. It's a double special symbol, which allows an allied unit within 10 stride to heal 1 wound. On defense, same thing. You can stress to get a solid special symbol, and the needle is rolling 2 blacks and a yellow. And once again, the switch is exactly the same. A unit within 10 can heal a wound. So you're kind of starting to see the picture here of what this model can do. There's an action, stitch up muscles, target allied unit within 10 strides, roll your willpower, heal as many wounds to the target as hits obtained. And then there is a tinge ability. So they can spend a tinge token, which the tinge keyword gives them at the start of the round.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And this is assembled bodies, target allied unit within 10 strides, make a willpower test. If you succeed, the target unit recovers a troop. If there are enemy units within 5 strides of the target unit, they receive the frightened state. And so, like I mentioned before, this is a character that can join, a support character that can join. So if you decide to join the needle, and the needle has no conquest. If you do join the needle to a unit, the unit all around, every model gets +1 wound, which is really fun. You also get an additional yellow for melee and an additional black die for defense and a +1 to conquest. And then you get the same abilities, stitch up muscles and assemble bodies, but they're just a little different. So when joined, stitch up muscles is still in action and your unit heals 1 wound automatically. Then you can roll a yellow and an orange and you heal as many additional wounds as you got hits. And then for assemble bodies, once again, it's target an allied unit within 10 strides, roll a yellow and an orange. If you obtain at least 1 hit, the target unit recovers a troop, which means they can bring a full model back. If there are enemy units within 5 strides of the target unit, they receive the frightened state. So this is the needle. I'll just say offhand, it's one of my favorite Scion units. Oftentimes I find for myself, the 10 and 15 point models in this game are always just a little kind of fun because they're very niche and they do very fun things. But what do you guys think?
So couple of comments I want to make here first is, anybody who's watching this on YouTube, you can see that while the skill and the tinge ability are both the same names, they modify it slightly on the join profile. And it's because they specifically call out roll 1 orange and 1 yellow die, because when you place this card under the other unit that you joined, the willpower of the needle goes away. They're maintaining the same roll because when the needle's solo, it just says make a willpower roll, which is up above and eligible to be used. So I really like the fact that they found a way to keep them both the same, as opposed to potentially joining a unit with red and orange. I don't even know if we have one of those yet, but what happens if we have that in the future? You're keeping it at the base willpower of the needle, which I really like.
Yeah. And they get the auto heal right off the bat when they're combined, when they're joined. versus on their own, which is
the other piece I really like, or I just wanted to call out, excuse me, is like we kind of just talked about when a character joins a unit, their characteristics and keywords are no longer in effect while they're joined to the unit. They take on those of the unit, characteristics and keywords, with the exception
one
of
very
tinge.
important exception.
The exception is tinge. Tinge is still active. It's treated like a permanent while they're still joined, and the tinge goes to the unit. If at any point when the character leaves, they both get tinge. The character and the unit keeps one.
No, I think at 20 points, I think this is an auto include for Scions.
Unless you've got some other very specific combo that you want and you can't squeeze it in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and then the nice thing about Science too is a lot of their units are lower points, so you often have a lot more flexibility in some of the list building, at least from what I've seen.
Well, and I've kind of seen, like, I don't know, early on, when the game was new, you weren't taking as many spellcasters maybe, or if you're learning the rules, you didn't want to deal with it. But like, I know I played tribes recently without spellcaster, and I just felt like, even though like they may not be the best, but just having them there just kind of is nice. Especially like you can actually block stuff. So I'm finding that having spellcasters is almost a very important thing. But
pretty sure that's why they made the change they did in the 1.5 rules update to make spellcasters like more of a threat, more viable. I want to include that. Exactly. Thank you.
Yep, more viable. Because that's the cool thing about the game. Like it's one of my favorite mechanics of the game, and the tinge and the tug of war with that. And it just felt like in earlier iterations it was missing that a little bit. And it seems to be coming fleshed out, especially with Scion.
Scion or Scions?
Scion.
Oh, you also just came fresh off a fight.
I did. I just came up fresh off a fight with Scion, so they're on my mind. Those teleporters are on my mind right now. But we're not talking about them today. We're talking about Scions.
And we're talking about spellcasters, which is our next.
Before we get to that, I want two more things on the needle. Since we've been talking about tinge quite a bit, the tinge rolls when tinge activates for Scions is different than every other faction. They have a completely different chart on how tinge actually affects them, and that's printed in the 1.5 update. Essentially, they ignore the very first one. They don't do anything until it's 2 through 7. If they have 2 through 7, they roll an orange die and consult the chart. At 8 is when they explode. Everybody else, it's 1 to 3, you gain stress. 4, 5, 6 is getting stress and a wound. 7, they explode, if I remember correctly.
Usually for Scions, it's the end of it. The highest amount of tinge where they actually have to start sweating. But it's fun because in the middle it's like wild magic from D&D. It's like you don't know what the heck's gonna happen.
Exactly, and some of it's good, some of it's bad.
Yeah,
you just don't know what you're gonna get.
But we do know what we're gonna get next, and that's the breath. See what I did there? That transition.
Nicely done.
Say us. Hey, us teachers, we gotta go get up in the morning. The breath. So this model honestly wasn't on my radar early until Interplanetario, or was it Gen Con? It was Gen Con that had the cosplay.
Correct.
Which was phenomenal. Anybody who got to see it, there's pictures out there and around, and it was just awesome. This person, I don't know who the person is. I don't really care because the person did a fantastic job of cosplaying this model. Very, very indicative of Scions with actually an elf that has no appendages or growths. I'm not 100% fully on her backstory, but you can read about it in the lore book. And here's our sculpt, and obviously goes with her name very well, as she is breathing a spell or something of those lines. But very cool. I think it's a very striking pose as well. Yeah, like it. What do you think?
I definitely like it. And going back to the cosplayer, I think I have a picture of her.
Yeah, we took
that I'll put on our Discord.
Yeah.
They were very friendly people. They were very nice, and the cosplay was just it was really cool.
So the cosplayer that did this for the breath is the partner of one of the longtime Infinity players out of Indiana, G, who made a gorgeous Shikami cosplay that he took to C2E2. That was it should have been in a movie. So the fact that she was able to pull this off as well, looking just as good, does not shock me.
Yeah, it's one of the this is one of I mentioned wanting to do prompts. Her cosplay was one. I don't want to do cosplay, but her cosplay was one of the things that kind of was like, oh yeah, maybe I can paint some props and stuff. Hopefully we get Warcrow weapons, because walking around Gen Con and Adepticon, I see people with Infinity weapons. I don't know the names of the guns and stuff, but I'm like, maybe one day we'll be able to get some cool Warcrow
combi rifle.
They've got a combi rifle. They've got a Feuerbach.
Some big long thing.
That's the Feuerbach.
That's the Feuerbach.
Yeah. But the breath was. I was excited about the breath because, like, if you're a Scions person, you might have thought like, oh well, we've seen all the models because they're in adventures, and it's cool because not only one, like the needle and the intact, they're getting resculpted for the game for Warcrow, because the other sculpts are for the adventures, the dungeon crawler, but the breath isn't even in the dungeon crawler. So it was like there are still models we're seeing for Science that nobody's seen before. So like the breath was one. The I'm looking. I can't. What are they? The worm guys we talked about in the last episode.
Liberated.
Yeah, them.
Tentacle bombies.
Yeah. They are so there's new stuff for Scions, and it's cool, and it's just as horrifying and creepy. And I think the breath is a really cool character because she's not super body horror-y. Like, it's more of like an elegant character.
Yes.
But it's the fact that she's wielding the fog, which is the big spook of Warcrow. Because even the Scions, I mean, they get some buff against it, but in the end, like, you have too much tinge, you're dead. So like the fog messes with everybody.
Yep.
So it's
and it
cool.
does, and with the breath, and we're gonna get into how she can manipulate that as well. So the breath, 15-point model, moves of 4/3, a charge of 9, wounds 2, willpower of a red yellow, morale of 1, available 1. She's character dark-minded elf. Keywords are dispel, 2 blacks. She is a spellcaster and has the tinge keyword. She has a ranged attack of 2 orange and 2 yellow, and your switches are 2 specials where you're going to place a fog marker within 7 strides from you, and we'll talk about that later. We have a hollow hit, which you can place yourself within 7, and we have another filled-in special where you receive 1 tinge. And normally that's a bad thing, but we will talk about why that is not in her case. She does have 1 melee orange dice, but that's probably only if you absolutely have to, because that is not where you want her to be. Her defense is 3 black. She also has a hollow shield where she can place herself within 7, and on a filled-in special you can receive a tinge. Conquest value of 0. Now, here's where she shines and where all that tinge comes from. So she has a spell ability called Red Lantern. You're going to target an enemy within 10 strides, resolve a ranged attack against the target. You can activate the switches from your roll. If you modify your spell with 1 tinge, you may remove a state from each allied unit within 10 strides. If you spend 2 tinges, you may replace your hollow hit with a filled-in hit. We have 2 skills after this. Black Rain, you do not need line of sight. If this is once per round, all other units within 5 strides receive 1 tinge. And then we also have the Crimson Tornado. All units within 4 strides of a fog marker receive the 1 tinge, which is where the fog marker placement comes in. All right, who wants to go first? Thoughts?
Well, I did some digging. This is a side tangent on the breath. So if you go to @StrayCatG, those are the creators that made the cosplay. Just wanted to give a plug for them because there's a lot of really cool art there. And you can find it if you go back in Corvus Belli's pictures on Facebook. You'll see the cosplay. So that's that. What I can say about the breath is she's a pain in the butt when you're trying to fight her, because I had the wonderful idea for our community to do both scenarios with fog. I think what was it? It was like Sealing the Rift and then the guy I played against. Oh, was it Scott? Was it you?
It was me. That was me.
It didn't, it was just so annoying because I think we had so much fog. We had so many fog tokens on the table that Scott and I both had used fog tokens. Like, it was ridiculous. That fog,
in a fun way.
It was
in a fun way.
We were laughing and having a lot of fun because the northern tribes are terrible with willpower, but it was really fun, and it brought a new level for me as someone who's always looking about where I can bounce my Tundra Marauders, because there's tokens everywhere. What is it? 5 strides? If you're within 5 strides of those things, something like that, or
4
strides? 4. Oh gosh, it messes you up so much.
Well, and remember, fog tokens have their own rules in the update. Off the top of my head, I think you can only you have to place them 10 strides apart, and then if you end your activation within 4 or 5 strides, you gain a tinge.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking about. The 4 strides. If you end your activation within 4, the tinge or the fog by itself just gives you a tinge. That's without the breath using Black Rain, because Black Rain is within 5 strides.
How big is the fog marker? Like what is its radius?
It's a little tiny marker.
It's like the normal token.
So it doesn't have a bubble. It's just its own target, and if you're within 4 strides of the token.
Yeah, so I would call that a bubble, but it's not one of the
Correct. It's
2 stride. It's not a 2-stride objective. It's smaller, like the activation tokens.
It's smaller. Yeah, it's smaller than 1 stride, I'd say. Yeah, it's teeny, but it's a pain in the butt. And be happy it's that small, because if they were bigger, that's just, oh man.
Well, I have yet to have a game where tinge has really been a huge factor. Now my opponent did not have the breath, so I didn't have to worry about it. Most of the time, in my experience, if you're a regular unit that's just using the regular tinge rules, the stress is annoying, but it is workable. But I haven't seen anybody. I personally have not seen anybody like really bad things happen with tinge yet.
I mean, it's
still a hard roll to get. Even if you're rolling.
I see the breath as round 1 character, and you just throw her out there, and she just starts throwing out fog. Just kind of populating the board, because Crimson Tornadoes, there's no range limit on that, and it's all units within 4 strides of a fog marker receive 1, so she can just kind of pick and choose. And as far as we know,
fog markers stay?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once it's placed,
it's there.
Stay.
It's stuck. As far as we know, there's no character yet that can remove fog markers, which would be an interesting thing. Like somebody.
Is she a sacrificial lamb, kind of, just to make sure it happens?
I think so.
For 15 points?
You can definitely. Fog markers functionally shut down, not shut down, but they make you really cautious. As a Northern Tribes player, I was like, oh shoot, because it affects your charge lanes, Scion as well. It can.
Well,
really
think about how many one morale models or units there are.
Yeah,
like that really is tough to work around. Now, and I try not to do that because I try to attach almost everybody with somebody for that reason.
Do you, when you place a fog token with her, do you need line of sight or not? Because it says place a fog marker, and I know you.
Yes, you would need it unless it says line of sight not required.
Right? Yeah. So she still needs to see, but like. Yeah. What if you put it adjacent to you?
Then you can see it.
then you can see it. So she
Yeah,
could technically go in the forest and put a fog marker in there
she could, yes.
to mess with.
I love that because I
Yeah.
hate Scion right now.
Because Black Rain doesn't need.
We love you though.
Black
You can
Rain
hate him
and,
right now. And
doesn't
it's
need
probably
line of
because I
sight.
didn't think they were very good to start, and now I'm mad at myself.
Did the Scion have archers or was it all blades?
No, it was all blades.
Yeah,
We'll get into that another time, though. Gosh dang it! I can go on a tangent right now.
But Black Rain, you don't need line of sight, and Crimson Tornado, it can just be all units within 4 strides of. You just pick a fog marker.
Everything. Just you don't have to pick one. It's just fog markers everywhere. The one thing I will definitely say that I recently learned: do not take the breath and have them try to do Red Lantern or a ranged attack against Guardians of the Mound. You do not get your switches.
Nope.
And that's she needs to be able to activate her switches.
She's a switch dependent character.
Yep.
Definitely a switch dependent.
That's an annoying, very, very annoying trait.
Thank you for the lesson, JP.
Anytime.
Oh, trust me. I got nailed by it as well.
Guardian of the Mound.
Feudum's got him too. Super cool model. She's gorgeous. She's 15 points. Take her. Take her. I think she's up there as a menace, depending on your scenario. Maybe someday we'll get to 2 where we get the option of 2 lists, like Infinity. We'll see. But right now we're at 1 list, so you have to make choices.
Absolutely. I enjoy the making choices aspect.
Yeah. And that Scott is going for the ugly man himself. Master
Hey.
Whoa. His screen's
Ugly?
off. His screen's off. You don't have to.
No, not you. I'm talking about Uruk.
Thanks, Jake.
The
Master
Horned
Uruk.
Menace.
Uruk, so he is a progenitor sculptor, I believe, which kind of shows off why he's got the larger set of arms and the smaller set of arms. But the really cool thing about this is he's got, it looks like a jar that he's holding. And if I remember correctly, when a progenitor sculptor truly finishes their transformation, they replace their heart with an orichalcum heart. And in this vase, this urn, he's carrying his original heart.
Yeah, it's his original heart and his blood, some of his original blood, because it gets replaced with like tinge and stuff.
So I just think it's cool. It's a really fun model. I will warn you, if you go to the painted version. Sorry, I can't see the screen.
It's streaming in the Discord now, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. The model itself, be cautious with those elbow spikes, because I have definitely jabbed my hand into them.
Yes, he's the spiky guy. He's also, excluding the Scion and all of their tactical woodland scatter terrain, I think he's the biggest, one of the biggest guys we've gotten, like just model, like actual model from base to top. Not like no spears, no standing on a tree, nothing like that. Like he's thin, right? The Revenant is a pretty chunky guy, but he's one of the tallest 2-stride, normal base guys I think we have.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And it's super intimidating. If you're like me and you do like the POV pictures, or like you try to get pictures on the battlefield, it's always cool to do it from like behind somebody who's charging into him, because you can always see him standing over them.
Standing above,
and
yeah.
He's smiling. He's not like roaring or anything. He's just grinning.
He is grinning.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Master Uruk's profile for a moment. So Master Uruk costs 40 points, brings 1 command token to your command pool, is an officer. Still an elf, so their move is 4/3 with a charge of 11, 4 total wounds, willpower of 2 orange and a yellow, morale of 3, and availability of 1. It's a character, it's a named character specifically, can only have 1. Characteristics are character, dark-minded, elf, and high command. And keywords are dispel with a blue and a black, Intimidating 2, and Join Infantry. The solo, so the unjoined profile, can modify to gain a tinge. The attack roll is red, 2 orange, and a yellow. Switches are 2 specials to cancel 1 block from your target, a hollow success to heal 1 wound, and a single special to receive 1 tinge. The defense roll you can modify to gain a single success and a tinge. So you get both of those if you modify on defense. Defense roll is 2 green, 1 black. With a switch of a hollow special, receive 1 tinge. Now here's why it matters that you'll notice I didn't say that he had the tinge keyword. The only way he can gain tinge is through these modifying and switches by himself. Like without in the absence of fog and the breath and things like that. And why it matters is because Blood Vial, which is his tinge ability, activate at the beginning of your activation, target enemy unit within 11 strides. If you are not engaged, place yourself engaged with the target and attack it. It is considered you charged. The target needs 2 blocks to cancel each of your successes. He also has a passive ability, the Smell of Blood. If you have 2 wounds or more, you may repeat up to 2 dice from your attack rolls. So he gets angrier and angrier. I don't think I mentioned it. He has 0 conquest when he is by himself. Join profile. Willpower, he adds an orange die to the unit's printed willpower on the card. He also adds 1 wound to every model in the unit that he's joined, as well as +1 morale. On the attack, he adds a 1 special to the roll, as well as on defense. The switches on attack, 2 specials, cancel 1 block from your target. And the switch on defense is cost 2 specials, cancel 1 success from your attacker. While he's joined, he does have 1 passive called Sculptor of Anointed. Your unit does not suffer stress after losing a combat. And he does give +1 conquest to the unit he has joined. What do you guys think?
+1 wound and +1 morale. Sign me up.
Seems pretty good alone.
Yeah, I don't get to play Scions all the time, but I think if I did take him, he's not my favorite progenitor, but if I did take him, I probably would take him more on his own, because he is kind of like a little monster on running around, and he's got Blood Vial, which is fun. You just have to make sure you get tinge. So that's another reason why the breath is fun, because the breath kind of acts as a tinge battery, getting units the tinges, the needle and Uruk the tinges they need to do things. Because you'll notice Uruk doesn't have a tinge keyword.
Is on his join I assume this is a translation thing. The H, is that wound?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm glad you called that out. So the first 2, willpower and wounds, it was a translation issue. It's voluntad is the Spanish version of willpower, and herida or herida, if you want to mispronounce it, but to accent the fact that it starts with an H, is wounds. That's what that is. And what I have found is when these sorry, just real quick, when one of the tricks I've covered identified on this is if there is a card that's printed like this with it didn't translate. If you want to know what that is, flip the card over to the Spanish side, and you can see the Spanish up top what those line up with, because it'll show voluntad with a willpower roll, like what you typically know, because it's the same layout, just with different headers up there. Sorry, Jason, please.
No, you're good. So is it just 1 wound for the entire unit, or 1 for each one?
1 wound on the profile. So if Master Uruk is joined to a unit of intact, each one of those models is 3 wounds.
Okay, That's pretty good.
You have to take 3 wounds before you pull them.
That's a hard unit to kill.
Yeah.
The one of the things I've seen a lot of people doing, or in our community at least, and I think it's because 2 people did it, and then I tell everybody about it now, is they do the needle. Dang it, what are the stone guys called? They're like one of my favorite units.
Echoes.
Yeah, they put them with the echoes, and the echoes are on defense. Or the echoes are like the skin changers where they can choose 2 options. And so if you choose the defensive option, the echoes get 4 wounds. But then if you put somebody like the progenitor Uruk or the needle with them, then they have 5 wounds each. And so now it's a 10 wound unit. And if they have the intact with them, not the intact, the needle with them, the needle's healing them too and can bring back 1. It's just nasty. It's so brutal.
How'd you get to the 5?
The echoes.
Are they 4 to start off?
So the echoes are 3 wounds, but if you do posture of the defender, you get immovable 4 wounds. And then with the needle adds an additional wound, or Uruk adds an additional wound. But then if you have the needle can also heal and bring back a model.
Yep. Yeah,
so
it's pretty big.
Every time I see somebody playing like them, I was just like, dude, it's like send somebody over there and just consign them to just being done, because it's not happening. Like they are stronger than the war rig and the rock troll. Like they in terms of wounds, like they have way more. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
But that's just a little side thing. Uruk is fun. I like his teleport. It reminds me of Marhail, the Refused for the hegemony. These abilities, some of these abilities are really fun. The ones where you require 2 shields for all your blocks for every 1 hit. Those are always fun, because it really allows you to make a dent in things. Like if you're coming up against a unit that's really defensive, Bucklerman or something, not Bucklerman, Bulwarks. These types of units are the units that can potentially be very good at breaking that, I would say, because of just they're taking away, they absorb more shields in order to hurt things. So they're kind of fun anvil breakers. If you think of the hammer and anvil type of strategies.
I was going to say that theme isn't out just yet.
Yeah, well,
we all have to wait a little bit. We'll talk about that in a moment.
I would say you're being a little short-sighted.
Well played. So Master Uruk is a named progenitor sculptor that we kind of alluded to a few moments ago. The pack, the actual box, does come with a progenitor sculptor model. So you can either field Master Uruk, the model, as the progenitor sculptor, or if you have Warcrow Adventures or the Scion's card pack, it comes with a progenitor sculptor. And I believe Jake is going to walk us through the progenitor sculptor.
I think JP is doing progenitor sculptor, but I will say Warcrow Adventures is going to give you 2 other progenitors, and then the actual generic progenitor sculptor is in the card pack. So there's a lot of progenitors all over the place.
Yeah.
Progeninating themselves.
And sorry, you all start with J.
We do all start with J. What's wrong with you, Scott?
You don't have to be sorry. We're sorry for you.
Yeah. You're not cool unless you're a J.
You should just do Scott. The J is silent.
The J is silent.
The J is silent.
So the progenitor sculptor, it's 30 points with 1 command token. He is an officer. He has the same 4/3 with an 11 stride charge movement. He has 3 wounds, a willpower of an orange and 2 yellows, a morale of 2, and availability 1. He is a generic character. He is a dark-minded elf and high command. His keywords: he has intimidating 2, join infantry, spellcaster, and tinge. So he's going to be generating his own tinge much better than Master Uruk. For his solo profile, you can modify to get a tinge. And for his melee attack, he gets a red, an orange, 2 yellows, and a blue. With switches of a tinge, your target receives the frightened state, and special receive a tinge. On defense, he can stress to gain a success, and his dice are a green, a black, and a yellow. With specials of spend a tinge with the same switches he has on attack. And he has a command value of 1, or conquest value of 1. He has a spell prodigy, target an enemy unit within 7 strides, resolve a ranged attack of value red, yellow, yellow against your target. The target needs 2 shields to cancel each of your hits. And then there's 2 tinge alterations. For 1 tinge, if your target is frightened, it suffers a stress. And for 2 tinge, add as many hits to your roll as the allied units within 5 strides from the target. As a join character, he adds changes the willpower to 2 orange dice and adds 1 morale. On melee, he adds an orange dice and a special. And on defense, he adds a blue die and a special. And then for the switches, again, he can spend tinge to give them the frightened state. Or on attack, he can spend 2 specials to cancel a shield from the target if it's frightened. On defense, he can spend 2 specials to cancel a hit from your attacker if it has the frightened state. He adds 1 conquest to the unit he's in. And then his passives in the joint, he has head of the family. Your unit is immune to the vulnerable state and gains a dispel of green. And then he has blades of red and silver. During the resolution of a melee attack in which you participate, inflict 1 wound on your enemy if it has the frightened state.
I would like to talk about that piece here for a second. The very last thing, blades of red, silver, as well as specifically the joined piece there.
He seems like he's a little bit more of a utility piece than Uruk is.
Yes, Uruk is more one-sided, one-minded, what have you. These switches, you definitely want to spend them in a specific order, because you can give them frightened and then use the cancel, because even if you just gave them frightened, they happen in the order that you spend the symbols. And for blades of red and silver, I just want to make sure that we're calling out that it says during the resolution of a melee attack in which you participate. So that doesn't even need to be, it doesn't call out you're the attacker or the defender, either one. As long as you're giving out frightened, which is, I think, a big boost to what the progenitor sculptors switch while joined, spending that tinge to be able to get that. So I really like it. For me, it's always a toss up between progenitor sculptor. One, because I love the model that came in Warcrow Adventures for it. I love it. Between progenitor sculptor and Master Uruk, it all depends on if I need to save some points, the 40 points, or if I've got a really specific unit I want to join to give this boost from the progenitor sculptor too. So that's why it's always a toss up for me.
Fantastic. All right, moving on. We are going to talk about the Anointed next. I love this unit. I think it is one of the coolest units in the game, just based on that concept art and the sculpts. The shields it's just a cool, menacing, vile-looking model. I put it up there with the Northern Tribes. They're just super cool. I haven't played them. I need to get them on the table. And once I saw them, I knew I had to have them, and I'm looking forward to painting them. Has anybody else painted or put them together yet?
I mean, yeah,
I have.
Yeah, they're fun. I've done them and the 2 from Adventures. They look like little linebackers
with shields.
Like. Yeah, little beat sticks is what they are.
And
they're very fun.
And they might be a beat stick. So let's see what the profile has.
Say real quick, hold on 1 second. I just want to call out a little bit of lore on the Anointed. I believe we earlier mentioned that the Intact are humans cosplaying as monsters because they're trying to prove themselves and climb higher up in the ranks of the Scions. they move from intact to marked, where they actually start getting a few modifications, kind of like the elves that they basically worship and venerate. The final stage for them, though, is an anointed, which is this. So these, we'll see here in a second, these are humans that have gained the favor of a progenitor sculptor to the point where the sculptor is giving them modifications.
Such cool lore, man.
It really is.
I gotta read the darn book.
Or you become a Morn Mob, which is, I don't know if that's a great
Cuddles.
Yeah. Cuddles.
So what do we got? What do we got, Jason?
So we're 35 points. They're slow. 2-3, charge of 8. Wounds 3, willpower orange and yellow, morale of 2, availability 1. They are human and infantry. They have the keywords fearless and intimidating 1. Full units, we are modifying, stressing to gain an auto hit and a special. Attack dice is a red 2, yellow, a green, and an auto hit. And you're spending 2 specials to cancel 1 shield from your target. On the block side, you can also stress them for a hit and a special. 2 greens, a black, and a yellow, and you have to spend 3 specials to add a hit back to your roll. So we have the option to be defensive or to clap back if you need to. Their profile goes down. Obviously, you're getting a little more expensive on your specials, and your adding hit is now a shield to a special. They are a conquest value of 1 on both their full and their half profile, because there are 2 models in this unit. We have a skill called Bone and Sinew. You're targeting an enemy unit with 8 strides. Roll 2 orange. If you succeed, place your target engaged in combat with you and then attack. We consider you charged. You are spending a command token for bone armor. When you roll your defense, you may suffer up to 2 stress to fix a die of your roll per each stress received. And then your passive ability is Guardians of the Family. When an allied officer character within 5 strides declares a move, when the character finishes the movement action, you may suffer 1 stress and place yourself adjacent to them. If you are engaged, you'll provoke an opportunity attack. So off the rip for me, I love games that include out of activation movement, or moving other people. It's kind of one of my favorite mechanics. So I will, when I look at games, if there's like a lot of movement shenanigans, I'm definitely looking at them. What do we think of the Anointed? Who's played them? Who's played against them?
I have played them quite a bit because they're one of the units I took to Interplanetario last year. And the profiles changed a little bit, but not by a lot. I love the fact that they have attack dice in the defensive pool, and that they're 3 wounds. So if you can put Master Uruk in here or the Needle, that bumps them to 4 wounds. That makes them even tougher. I've actually never used Guardians of the Family, because I typically have a character joined to them to give them that little extra boost to do that piece. And the one comment I have about Bone and Sinew, which is a long action, so basically you're charging or assaulting. Don't forget about it, especially if you want to target a unit that has not activated and can hold and shoot. That was a fatal flaw of mine at Interplanetario, because I'd never used Bone and Sinew up until that point, and I charged Pioneers instead of making them come to me. So definitely pay attention to
this is one of our first
attacks.
Yes. This is one of our first, I also think when you're spending a command ability where the effect you get is really good, but it has a negative effect on you, where a lot of command abilities are pretty much in your favor. It always makes me a little nervous voluntarily adding stress to yourself. So personally for me, I would think twice about that.
Well, if you take both stress, you're fixing 2 dice on your defense roll.
So take those greens.
Yeah, I get it. In order to 2 blacks,
fix your yellow.
Yeah,
or fix the yellow.
I get it. There's probably a scenario where it's good. It's still you're still pumping them to their morale. And you're only going to be able to do it on their activation, and there have to be not stress because you can't overstress yourself, right? Can't voluntarily do
you
it.
cannot voluntarily do it.
So,
and you can't do it. You cannot do it on their own activation.
Yeah.
Because it's when you're rolling defense.
Correct. I don't know how often it would actually come up usable. I don't know. I haven't played him. I haven't played against him, but that would be my one kind of like, eh.
So
we can fix that.
Bone and Sinew roll 2 oranges. What happens if you don't? What are you rolling? What are you trying to get?
I think
you're looking for at least one success.
Okay. What if you don't get a success?
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Does that count as the long action?
Yes.
Yep.
So okay, so it's a swing ability. I mean, the chances of you getting the hit are high, but there's a potential that you could try it. And then
I mean, it's
that's a little risky.
Just like any game. It's down to a dice roll. It's still a dice roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's why I value auto hits and auto defenses probably more than anything else in a lot of cases, or anything that's automatic.
Yeah.
Because at least you're guaranteed on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can talk about one of the original anointed, which is Kala the Maw. Body horror is what he is.
Yes.
I always like to look for Easter eggs and stuff, and with the science, it's a little difficult because it's like his whole chest, he has like that skull, and I'm like, is it a creature that we've not just a sculptor, Uruk, who like just sculpted this? So little lore background, Uruk. This is Uruk's kind of first kind of masterpiece creation was Urkala, and so that's why he kind of has the nickname the Maw, obviously because he doesn't have a 6-pack. He just has a mouth. Fun. I think it's a funny side story, but at some point, Uruk lost Urkala, and then made another first anointed. I can't remember that guy's name. And then Urkala pulled back up to the crib and was like, what the heck? And so now Uruk has 2 first anointeds. Really, you're just supposed to have 1.
I think he's the only one because it's truly
you're just supposed to have 1 because they're considered like it's like your thesis.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's like your thesis. So now he's got 2.
Did he eat the other one?
No, he's just around.
Oh, they both exist.
He's named, I think, in the lore. I just can't remember his name, but when you look at the lore book, it's Uruk's information, and then Urkala, and then another one, and he's another first anointed, and so now he's just got 2. He's got 2 guys. So yeah.
Do you suppose the progenitor was like, well, this is awkward?
Yeah, Uruk was
probably yeah.
Like, oh well.
I wish you'd called first.
Yeah. Yeah. Master Uruk, you'd never believe. Oh, okay. Well, so yeah,
if you ever listen to this,
yeah.
we got some lore for you.
Looking at the sculpt too, you can see Urkala is standing there pointing accusingly at Uruk, claiming, "How could you have lost me, your firstborn son?" But it's a cool power pose, on his little tactical.
It's so cool, and that axe,
the tooth axe,
teeth.
Tooth
yeah,
axe, there's teeth.
It's all skin, it's all flesh and muscle and teeth. Yeah, it's everything you'd want in an axe.
And it's got an eyeball.
That's why I'm so glad a friend of mine started calling these flesh elves.
Yeah, they're gross. They're probably moist too. No, thank you.
No, just naturally like.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I needed that in my head.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Very
Brain.
Squishy. Very squishy.
Well,
They're squishy.
It opens up some modeling possibilities too, because if you want to varnish with a glossy coat on those specific pieces, you can and hit the rest matte.
Or use what's the name of this stuff? There's the glue.
Like liquid effects.
Yeah, but there's another glue I have where you can actually do saliva. I can't oob glue or something. I can't. It's in blue, yellow too. Whatever. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, it's super fun. If I wasn't doing the color scheme I'm doing now, where it's super OSL, I would do it. But it's a yellow tube, I think. It's like German.
It's this stuff.
Clear
part cement window maker from Testers.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Speaking of fun stuff, let's look at Urkala's stats. So he is 30 points, 1 command token, an officer, character, movement 238, so a little slow. wounds 3, willpower 2, oranges, morale 3, AVB 1. He is a named character, so can't, and he's a character. You can only have one. Character human infantry, fearless, intimidating 2, join infantry human. On the attack, you have 2 reds, a yellow, a blue, and a auto shield, auto block. You can stress to give a solid hit and special. You have 2 different switches. The first switch is 2 specials, which allows you to suffer 1 stress and inflict 1 wound to your target. The hollow hit is the other switch, and that is cancel 1 block from your target. On defense, it's a green, 2 blue, and an orange, a defense of a solid shield and special, and then the 2 special solid specials, which are cancel 1 attack, 1 hit from your attacker. He has a long action called Roar Ikala. Target enemy unit within 10 strides. Place your target engaged in combat with you, and then attack. We consider you charged. Your target receives the frightened state. If it already had it, it immediately suffers a stress. 1 stress. There's a passive, the Maw of Uruk. Urkala gains properties according to the suffered accumulated damage. If it's 1 wound, add a yellow to your attack and defense rolls. If you have 2 wounds, you may repeat up to 2 dice from your attack and defense rolls. Urkala can be attached to a unit and join a unit, so he gives that unit an additional health, additional wound, and an additional morale. And so he's also on the melee side, giving them an extra hit with the switch of a solid special that says suffer 1 stress and inflict 1 damage to your target. And then on the defense, nothing. He gives you nothing. But he gives you 1 switch, which is 2 specials, and you can cancel 1 hit from your attacker. He also gives you a +1 to the conquest value. On his own, he has no conquest value. And then he also, when joined, gives the passive the Hands of the Sculptor. When your unit receives damage, you may suffer X stress to ignore X wounds. How do we feel about this? Jason, how do you feel about this? Since it's a lot of risk and reward here.
I'm always wary about adding stress, but it's all situational, right?
Yep.
He's got a lot of cool stuff. I love placements. It's annoying to me, and you're also getting frightened on that long, and at least it's a guarantee. Yeah. So that's pretty good. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
Well, and if you add them to those anointed, they become 4 wounds.
Yeah.
And 3 morale. Extra stress they can use.
Yep.
I played a game where somebody ran at me. They were using it was a newer player, but he had his 2 anointed, and then he added Urkala to the anointed, and then he also, we'll talk about this next, but the first anointed was also in that group, not with them, but nearby, and all of them charged my Gisarmies with the Syzygian, and they could not kill him. The Gisarmies were just running around the point, and
curse you throwing knives.
It was all dice. Yeah, it was at that point, because the writing was on the wall for those guys, and we just got lucky, and we had knives.
Curse says.
So for me, this is one model I always try to put in the list if I've got the points available.
Fearless and intimidating 2 is great. I mean, it's really, he's one of the intimidating 1. Like, I feel like I see enough of them now that I don't think of it as big of a deal, but intimidating 2 is definitely. Like for Northern tribes, it's like those willpower checks can be tough as is. Intimidating 2 is really difficult.
Yes. Yeah. 1 I haven't seen a lot of effect. But 2 is definitely, and then obviously you got to give that frightened out, so you're looking to do that so you can use your intimidating 2. All right.
Now we can look at the generic first anointed.
Yep.
He has 25 points with 1 command token. He is an officer. He has a movement of 2/3 with an 8 stride charge. He has 3 wounds, a willpower of orange and yellow, 3 morale, and an availability of 1. He is a character human infantry. He has intimidating one, and can join infantry or human infantry. On the attack, he has a modifier of a shield, and his attack dice are a red, 2 orange, and a block. His attack switch is 2 specials, suffer a stress and inflict a wound to your target. On defense, his modifier is a block and a special. And his dice are a green, a blue, and a black, with a switch of 2 specials to add a shield to your roll. He has a long skill, the same long skill that the Anointed have, Bone and Sinew. Target an enemy unit within 8 strides. Roll 2 orange dice. As long as you're successful, place your target engaged in combat with you and then attack. It's considered you charged. When he's joined to a unit, he gives them an orange willpower die, and he adds 2 to their morale. On the attacks, he adds a switch of a special to add a shield to your roll. On defense, he's going to add a block, and then a switch of 2 specials to add a shield to your roll. And he's going to boost their conquest by 1. He also adds a command ability, Bring Me Their Head. At the beginning of your activation, if your unit is engaged, roll an orange. If you succeed, each unit you are engaged with suffers 1 wound for each level of stress on them. Then he has a passive Firstborn. Your unit gains Raging. Raging is a reminder, when you charge, you add an extra success to your roll. What do you think?
The joint command ability is nasty if you can pull it off.
Bring Me Your Head is fun. Sometimes I like to pick one character and kind of build a list around them just to see if I can do it. This is one of those types of things I would do. Like, let's really do something where we can put a lot of stress on people, on units, and then have this guy come in and do Bring Me Their Head. Because, I mean, if you play your cards right, he could potentially knock out.
Yeah.
Like, with if the breath is putting tinge on, is putting out those markers and giving out tinge, which is giving out stress. It could be pretty bad.
Hey, especially if you could, during the combat that you're using this in, or about actually, so it's at the beginning of your activation. It's only going to be what their morale maximum is. Yeah. That's possible.
But the first anointed, the first anointed has morale too. So if you throw him in with the anointed, they have, what is it, morale 5? Is that what that would that be? So like multiple. Oh no, yeah, morale 5. So multiple activations. Oh no, morale 4.
Morale 4.
Morale 4. Multiple activations. You could do a 1-2 punch type thing where you activate them and then go again. And if you really wanted to set up something. But it's one of those abilities where it's like, I don't think it's gonna be super like, like that classic anime slice, and then like everybody's head falls off. But when it does happen, it's gonna be really cool.
And it's a finisher. Like if you need that finisher,
it's like an ultimate.
They have
right?
1 wound left, and you got a command token to spare, and you can, or even a start of activation. Say you're
as long as they have stress on them, yes.
Correct. So if that unit's stressed, they have maybe 1 wound left, or even 2 stress, because that's going to be 2 damage. Like, okay, beginning of the activation, spend it. Oh, it dies. Now I can go do whatever I want.
Yep.
Because you'll get that movement, but
you'll get the movement and whatever after.
No, hold on. You do not get the free movement, because that's only if you destroy a unit in combat. You have not declared your skill yet.
Boo.
You can charge after you're done.
Yeah, you can do that. Super cool.
Or maybe you bring the unit right to the brink, and then in that combat you get, because they have rage. They have all these cool little. This model has all these cool little things that helps them in whether they're in combat or going to charge into combat with the raging. So they're fun. I like them. I personally like them a little bit more than Urkala. Just because of a little bit more of like the genericness. One of the things about the narrative, it's not bad, but one of the things about the narrative was when you have the characters, they're very much, they do what their character's supposed to do. With the generic ones are more, I would say a little bit more flexible, so you can kind of do a little bit. They have a little bit more of a malleable play style.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of that box. Yay, we did it, everybody. Yay.
There was much rejoicing. Yay.
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 Let's talk about what's coming up then.
Yes.
January releases, which
Is
for
now.
many folks, because we're recording this, we're at the end of January, so most folks either have it in hand or it's on the way if they pre-ordered it. We've got the Intact and Gesarmiers, so the two base troop units from Song of the Dormant. You can buy them in separate boxes because each of those are availability of 3. And the CNN Clouded, which is their cavalry models, which just look phenomenal.
So cool. I just bought them today. I literally purchased them right before we went on.
Mine's being delivered tomorrow.
Nice.
I don't buy
So-
CNN.
That's fine.
Wah, wah.
I will bring the CNN to your table.
Yes, you can. I will happily murder them.
The February releases are the Marked for Scions, Archers for Feudum, and CNN gets Echan the Centaur Elf, which is the big based model that they are getting.
Mounted hero.
Yes.
Yeah.
The mounted hero, which is, well, is it technically mounted if it's a centaur?
Yeah, I mean it's the horseman. He fills the base and role of a hero who is also a cavalry hero.
Cavalry mounted.
There we go.
units. Yes.
So March predictions that we have out there, I personally think we're going to see the final CNN unit, the Moss Hermit. And I think we'd be due for the support box for both Scions and Feudum, if I remember the release for Northern Tribes and Hegemony correctly.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think.
So that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah. And we also have Adepticon.
Yes.
Yes.
We have Adepticon in
We
March,
do.
which at the tail end of March, so 2 months from right now, we will, several of us here will be in Milwaukee with, I don't know what the number they're going to hit this year, 8,000 of our closest friends.
Yeah. Well, it surpassed last year's, which is cool.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
we'll be running
Yeah.
some of.
Let's talk about that real quick before we sign off to the night, because we want people to come and join these events. And
Yeah,
if you're
say hi to
scared
us.
about coming to Adepticon, don't be. If you're worried about being it too crowded, don't be. It's in a new space. Milwaukee's awesome. The space is
It's
huge.
really nice.
It's far beyond what we've had in the past. There's plenty of room. You do not feel crowded anymore. So if you've seen crowded hallway pictures, that is not a thing anymore. In fact, sometimes it felt too big based on what we were used to. So if you have that kind of hesitation, this is not like Gen Con and sort of size, and we're in a different facility. So there's plenty of room. Do not be afraid of that. Please think about signing up. And Scott or Jake can tell us quickly about the events that are going to be going on.
Yeah, I'll tackle that one real quick. So we've got 3 different Warcrow events that we're running at Adepticon. The Thursday, we are running a team tournament where 2 players will each bring a list. I'm trying to remember how many points we said. Was it 150?
Yes.
I think it's a 150 point list. Each one of you bring your own, sphere legal list, but you'll play it as pretty much a cohesive unit on the field. We've got very specific interaction rulings that we have posted on the website, and I'll give the website here in a second. That's Thursday. Friday is the narrative run by the amazing Mike Say.
Yes.
He read last year's narrative for us, and he's running this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody that plays in that, I guarantee you, is going to have a lot of enjoyment playing that game. Lots of little fun differences between WTS and what he's got cooked up. And then Saturday, Sunday, we have a 6-round WTS tournament. We still have some spots available. If anybody wants to check it out, go to adepticon.org. Click on register, and then under register, it'll take you to this event page. You can go to I think it's event descriptions or event information. You can just type in Warcrow in the search bar, and it'll bring those 3 up.
Yep. And so Scott and I will be running. What are we doing? The team?
We're running the team together. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll be there. So feel free to say hi to us. I like to yap a lot, and we'll be at the seminar, and we'll be all the
absolutely.
things.
That's Thursday night. For those
Thursday
of you who
night.
have been, the seminar will be Thursday night, where we hear about all the things Corvus Belli is coming in the future, and it's always a good time. So yeah.
All right.
That's what's coming up.
Yeah. So what's next for the channel? January and February releases. We'll talk about that stuff because now we finally got Song of the Dormant done. So now we'll be able to talk about other stuff. And then Adepticon, of course. And so where can you find us?
Well, real quick, with Adepticon coming up, we'll also have a chance to talk about the release.
Oh yeah.
Of Warcrow, because we specifically have already announced, Corvus Belli has already announced that Adepticon, which will be technically the April release, but you can get it early either at Adepticon or during the pre-order type frame, is a Mount Haven action box, action pack, like they did with CNN last year at Adepticon. So with Mount Haven, we will finally have the final original nation started and have those models out there. I, for one, cannot wait to see what they look like.
Yep, and keep an eye on that, because once it drops, we will definitely be talking about that before we all run off to Adepticon. So
yes.
Definitely be looking out for that special episode in the near future, or somewhat late future, depending on when they release the details of that box. Because I have no idea when it's coming.
Soon, TM.
Yeah, you can, and if you want to, keep an eye out, you can email us at whispersfromtheinn@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook at Whispers from the Inn.
And our Discord will be in the comments below of this video as well.
Yeah, and it's all the same name, and you'll be able to see all the stuff that we're doing and we're planning on doing, and we are talking in the Discord, and you can chat with us about ideas.
Please join the Discord. We'd love to have you. That's my preferred method of communication, mostly because I live in it almost all day long. Trials and tribulations of an esports coach.
Yeah. And I think with that all being said, I think we're wrapping it up for today. So we will see you in the next podcast, in the next recording. And for the love of Lindworm, stay out of the fog.
Thanks for joining us.